So I've been wanting to build a magnetic knife holder for some time now. This is the design that I came up with. In today's video, we'll be building a swiveling magnetic knife holder. This thing will display your knives while they stick firmly to the sides. And then for the middle, I'll show you a couple of different options. And the great thing about these is that they're super easy to build and low cost. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do for this build is pick our material out. And no, this time I'm not using fence pickets. I actually want to use a hardwood for this. So that's going to be your walnuts, maples, oaks, things like that. And one of the things that I really like about this build is that it doesn't take much material. And since we'll be using some hardwoods on this, it's really not going to cost that much to make. So I'm going to make a couple of these using a couple of different types of wood. I'm going to be using some 3/4 maple. And yes, these are the pieces that I'll be using. It's only going to take a couple of these little squares. And then for my second one, I'm going to be using some 3/4 walnut. Now it really doesn't matter what type of material that you use for this. The main thing is if you're following along, it needs to be 3/4 of an inch thick. So now that I have the material that I'm going to be using picked out, let's go ahead and lay this material out and make some cuts. And as always, I'll be teaching you step by step on how to build this project. But if you're a plans in the hand type of person, I've got you covered. I built my entire plan library around something that I call Lego plans. That means exploded views, x-ray views, and clear diagrams for every single step. With over 11,000 5-star reviews, these plans have helped thousands of people of every skill level build successfully. So if you're interested in the easiest plans on the internet to build from, head over to my website. I'll make sure to throw a link in the description. So we're going to start off by cutting our sides. As far as the wood goes, actually there's only 6 parts in total. We'll be needing 4 sideboards that are 5 inches wide by 9 inches long. So to start with, I'll square up my material and rip everything to 5 inches wide. We'll cut it to length here in a minute. Once I have those cut, I'll set my table saw to 45 degrees. Then to rip our sides to 45 degrees, I'll set my fence for 4 1/8, and then I'll make rip cuts on each side of each board. That's going to make for some nice corner joints, plus I'm going to sand mine down to a rounded edge here in a bit. So now that we have these all ripped down, let's go ahead and cut these to length. Again, for our sides, each board will be 5 inches by 9 inches long. And if you wanted to make these custom sizes, change those dimensions up any, go for it. This is just the width and the length that I thought would look nice. Okay, so now with our parts cut to length, let's go ahead and cut grooves on the inside of our material to hold our magnets. Not only are they going to be holding the magnets, but they're going to be hiding the magnets. So the magnets that we're going to be using for this look like this. These are called rare earth magnets or neo something or other. I can't pronounce it. I'm a hillbilly. So rare earth magnets it is. Extra sticky magnets. So in order to hold these like this, we need to cut 2 1/2-inch channels. So you ask, why do we need 2? Well, it's going to be so that we know for sure that this thing's going to hold knives, and it'll also hold longer knives. As cheap as these things are, might as well. But before we install the magnets, we'll need to cut the grooves. With the inside of my boards facing up, I'm going to measure down from my top 1 inch and mark off 4 of my boards. And since I want this channel to be a 1/2 of an inch wide, go ahead and mark 1.5 inches as well. And since I want 2 channels, we're going to do the exact same thing for 3 inch and 3 1/2. Now with those marked, let's head to the miter saw. Now there's a couple of different ways that you can cut this notch. If you've watched many of the videos, you know that a lot of these smaller notches I like to do on the miter saw with a depth stop. Or if you have a table saw sled, that would be perfect. You can do it on the table saw using a single blade or a dado stack. Completely up to you. If you're using the miter saw like me, we're going to be using the depth stop. And we've covered the depth stop in several different videos. To set the depth of our depth stop, I'm going to start off by putting a piece of scrap wood against my fence. Then I'll measure up from my table to 1/8. I want this channel to be pretty thin so that my magnet works through it. I'm going to set my depth stop so that the blade stops right at my 1/8 of an inch mark. And now with that set, we're ready to cut our grooves. And to do that, I'll just remove the material in between the 4 lines that we made earlier. And it's always a good idea to X out the material that you're going to be removing. And here's a little tip, since you still have your table saw set up 45 degrees. Go ahead and add 45 degrees to one edge of your scrap wood spacer. This is going to help to keep the angle of your part that you're cutting from sliding up underneath of your material. Okay, so now that we have all of our sides cut, before we glue these up, let's go ahead and install our magnets. It's going to make things a lot easier doing it this way. Now I'll make sure to throw a link to these rectangle magnets in the description. But to really make sure that this thing holds, I'm going to be doubling the magnetism by stacking two on top of each other. And then to install these into the center of our little grooves, I'll be using CA glue. So one of the things about these Neo whatever magnets is that they're actually pretty fragile. So just be careful not to drop these on concrete and don't let them fly across the table and hit each other. Now, I know they're not going to blow up, but yeah, they may break. Oh, like that. And to test these out, okay, so now that we're all magnetized, let's go ahead and get these things glued up. And to do this, I'm going to be using one of my favorite things in the shop, painter's tape. Okay, so maybe painter's tape is not my favorite thing in the shop, but I guess you could say it's one of my favorite accessories. And the reason why? Is because you can use this stuff for a ton of different things. So I've started off by laying out a couple of strips of painter's tape. Now I'm just laying my parts out side by side. I'm going to give them a little press, and then I'll add wood glue to my joints. Now if you wanted this joint to be workable right away, then you could add some CA glue along with your wood glue. The CA glue would act as a clamp while the wood glue dries. But I'm just going to do mine the old-fashioned way and let it dry. Now that's all that I have to do is to roll this thing up and attach my tape. Now to make this a bit tighter while it dries, I'll add a couple more pieces of this tape. Now you could also use some strap clamps for this, but honestly, as long as this tape is nice and tight, these corners will join just fine. And again, if you didn't want to wait for the wood glue to dry, you could also throw a couple of brad nails in the sides. I'll leave that to you. Now let's go ahead and add our bottoms. And for this, you'll need a 3.5 by 3.5 block of the same material that you've been using. Then we'll put wood glue on all four edges and then slide it in our bottom. And if it won't slide, give it a little tappity tap. Now do not forget that we're adding these to the bottom. If you look in the side of the block, the grooves that we cut earlier will be towards the top. So, the opposite side. So the next thing that we're going to need for these things is going to be our base. And there's a couple of different looks that you can go for with this. You can cut a 5" by 5" base, which will line up perfectly for a nice sleek look there. Or you can have one that's just a little bit wider. This is a 6" by 6" base. So it'll leave about a 1/2 inch sticking out on each side. Since I've never made these before, honestly, I don't know which one that I like better. So I'm just going to do one of each. So you can take a look at these whenever I get done, make your decision, and either cut a 5" by 5" or a 6" by 6". Now with our bases cut and our blocks all glued up and dried, let's go and give these a nice sanding before we assemble these. Then once all of your parts are sanded, go ahead and apply whatever finish that you're going to use. So if you're going to be staining this, well, go ahead and do it. Doing all this before we attach our base, just going to make things a lot easier. And then for your seal coat, you can really use about any type of finish that you'd like. But if you're going to be selling these and knives are going to be sticking to it, you may ought to go with a food grade finish. Basically anything that you would use on a cutting board. Right, so these things are looking pretty awesome. And I'll go back after I get everything assembled and polish these things up. But these things are ready for our swivel base. Okay, so to make these things swivel, I'm going to be using these little things. And I call them mini Lazy Susan pieces. And if you look these things up like that, these things actually pop up. And the great thing about these is that they're cheap. I got 2 of these little mini swivel parts for $6 on Amazon. I'll make sure to throw a link in the description. So whenever I first got these, I really wasn't sure how I was going to attach one side to my base and the other side to my block. So let me show you what I came up with. The first thing that you'll need to do is to center your swivel in the middle of your base. Go ahead and mark your 4 holes onto the base. Then let's pre-drill for our 4 screws. Now let's go ahead and attach this swivel to our base using 1/2" screws. Now for the solution to the problem that I had. In order to get screws from the underneath of this swivel into my block, we'll need to do it from the bottom of this base. So what I'm going to do is to make sure that one of my holes is right past the bottom plate of this swivel, and then mark that. Now I'll drill a 5/16 hole through my base. Can you see where I'm going with this? If not, let me show you. Notice how all 4 of the screw holes on the top plate line up with that hole as I spin it. Well, now that we have our swivel on our base, let's attach it to our block. Now let's center our base with our block. Then we'll just swivel our base until our hole lines up with one in the plate. Then I'll give it a little pre-drill and install my screw. Then we'll just repeat this by turning our base for all 4 screws. And now with our swivel base installed, check that out. All right, so this is where we're at, which is pretty much done. Actually, it is done if you're not planning on adding anything to the middles here. Let's just say that you wanted to leave this open for spoons, kitchen utensils, whatever. But let's say that we wanted to take these to the next step. Whenever I was looking these things up, I noticed that a lot of these have these little plastic insert with what looks like a ton of little plastic rods sticking up. And the use for that is that you can stick extra knives down in there without actually having to have slots. But whenever I noticed that those little plastic inserts were around 30 bucks each, I got to thinking, okay, so what looks similar but is a lot cheaper? And came up with this. Barbecue skewers. So I figured out that in order to fill this space, you'll need about 350 of these things. Good thing is, they're super cheap. And since these are bamboo, they would actually look really good, just natural. But to take this a little bit further, I went ahead and stained the skewers for one of these just to see what it would look like. Now to stain these, that's all that you have to do is take a foam brush and just lightly hit every single one, all 350. Or you can do like I did, put them in a big bunch and just dip them down into some stain. I'll leave that up to you. Regardless of whether you've decided to leave yours natural or to stain the ends, we're going to need to cut these to fit. So what I've done to help keep these together is just throw a couple of rubber bands around and put some painter's tape on the end that I'm going to be cutting off. That's just going to help to keep these sticks from going everywhere. Then we'll put these face down into our knife holder and mark a cut line. And then use your miter saw or a table saw sled to cut these off. And just so you're not being a big waster, you can save the cutoff ends and use them as toothpicks. Just an idea. Then we'll just add these to our blocks and see how it turned out. All right, so this is what we've ended up with. We have all of our little sticks in there, and I'll show you how all this stuff works, but I think you get the idea. Have some knives just to test this out. I'm going to start with this walnut one here. That's what we want. We want that slapping sound to make sure that the knives are sticking. Now this thing is awesome. For as easy as these things are to make and with a little bit of material, they're really cool. So let me show you how these little sticks in here actually work. So you can take any knife and just stick them down in there. And then they just stay where they're at. And there we have it. I think that these things turned out awesome. I actually like both styles of this. So I did one in walnut with a 6-inch base, one in maple with a 5-inch base, and they both look awesome. The super cool thing about this project is that there's not very many steps on putting this thing together, and it's pretty stinking easy. So if you are into making money with woodworking, definitely put this into your lineup, because as soon as people start seeing these things, they're going to want them. So you all just watched me make 2 of these in a very short video using very little supplies. This project will definitely be a low-cost, high-profit item. So you think that these look like something you can sell? Well, you know what time it is. Time to get up, get out, and get your build on. Till next time, we'll see you. Imagine taking a pile of wood and turning it into something amazing. Now, imagine doing that without years of frustration. You do not need a fancy workshop, expensive tools, or years of experience. With Woodworking Kickstart, you'll build confidence and real skills in no time. So you can spend years making mistakes and learning the hard way like I did, or you can start building with confidence today. So join me in Woodworking Kickstart and let's get your journey started.